Okay, so today we've got a 92 Chevrolet Silverado that we're going to be doing a lower ball joint on. I'm also going to be putting new upper control arms on that's going to include both bushings and a new ball joint, which is why I chose to go with the upper control arm. And also going to be doing a pitman arm and idler arm. But for this video, we're going to concentrate on the lower ball joint. So let me get the camera set up and we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing I've got the truck up on jack stands. I've got the jack stand under the control arm because obviously the spring would push this lower control arm down. So you want to make sure that you're jacked up or that you're supported under the control arm. That way when we bust these ball joints loose, the lower control arm is going to stay where it's at. And just for safety, I always just kind of keep my jack underneath the frame of the vehicle that I'm working on. So I'm going to try to get this camera in the perfect spot for you, but okay, so the first step is get this cotter pin out of here. Okay. Okay. Extension. I don't have shallow impact socket, so I'm using a regular socket. Just going to take it completely off. The pickle fork that I need, I just remembered that I broke it. So I don't know if this one's going to work or not. Okay. So I'm gonna get this whole upper control arm and spindle assembly pulled up and off the lower ball joint so we can get access to it. Let me get that done, I'll come back. Okay, so what I've decided to do is go ahead and disconnect the upper ball joint. So I've already got the cotter pin out. I got it's 26 millimeters what I've got to fit it. In fact, let's go ahead and get us turned this way. I'm going to have to pull the caliper off, hang it up over here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get the caliper off. Okay, I've got that caliper hung up over here. Probably need to. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bust the tie rod loose. That way, this whole spindle will just be out of my way. Okay. So there's that mess. I'm going to get a box to set underneath here because there's a lot of trash. It'll just make cleanup a little easier. Now, since I'm replacing this, I'm going to try to pound this ball joint out of here. I don't know if I'll have any luck or not, but okay, yeah. So that's it. Save us a little time. So I'm going to clean this junk up just so I don't have to work around it. We'll get that other one pressed in, and then I've got to go to the upper control arms. I'm just going to clean this up and I'll be back. Okay, new ball joint. Got to take the boot off. Then we're going to have to get the ball joint pressed. You can tell, I don't know if you can see that, but someone's been in here already. And they have pounded the hell out of this lower control arm. I don't know. That's probably why it came out so easy. So I'm just going to tap it a little bit to kind of get it to stay up there by itself. Then we're going to see what the best way to got to make sure whatever ring you use here, that the ball joint's able to go through it. If you know what I mean. Okay. Okay, so it's all rigged up. Let me see if I can get you. So the ball joint shaft is going to be able to go right up through this hole. So we'll get a wrench and get to turning. Tell you what, I'll put you over here. Might be a better angle. Let me see what I need here. Alright, so I'm just down here on the press. Okay. It looks like that did it. Just want to make sure you get it all pressed up in there the way it's supposed to be. Don't forget the boot. Now we can put the, well, now that everything's out of the way, what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the upper control arms out on this side. And on this particular truck, so on these upper control arms, you adjust the camber and caster with the eccentrics. And I'm going to put I'm going to take me a marker, and I'm going to put a mark straight up and down on the front and back eccentrics, so that I can at least get it as close as possible to where it was, because I don't know how soon this guy's going to get this truck to an alignment shop. Of course, I'm going to tell him he needs to do that as soon as possible, but you know how some people are. If it drives okay, they'll drive it and wear the tires down until they absolutely have to get it aligned. So I'll try to at least get it as close as I can by doing that. Put a mark, straight up on these eccentrics, and if I put the eccentrics back in the same spot, it should be relatively close, or at least a lot closer than if they were, 180 degrees from where they were. So let me get all set up, and I'm going to take these upper control arms out. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I've kind of come back a little bit. Come on now. Get off there. Remember, you got to take the nut side off. And what I mean by that is the nut's what's going to spin. The bolt side will not spin. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. I don't know if you can see that mark, but okay, so the See how the bolt is got a flat spot on it? Well, that's what turns both these eccentrics. So when you loosen this nut off here and then you turn the bolt, this is what moves this control arm in and out. So you can't bust this loose right here. You've got to bust the nut loose. So now this control arm should pop out of here. Got the new one. Kind of get it up in there close to where we need it. And I'm going to jump up top so I can get this bolt in. Okay. Make sure the lines are lined up, and then snug all this up. I'm going to try to hold it right there. Okay, that looks pretty close to where they were at. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these as much as I can, and then we'll lift this thing up and put the spindle back in and button this side up. Okay, got that upper control arm tightened up about as tight as I could get it. So now we're going to stab this knuckle on up here. Okay. Putting the cotter pin in. Okay, got you set up in a better position. Okay, I can't find my new cotter pin, so let me get my cotter pin kit. Got the cotter pin. Got it almost in there. Now, I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade, so that's why I tend to do my cotter pins like this. This is the way they want it done on airplanes. Either way's fine. Okay. Okay. I'm going to clean this rotor up on both sides and then put the caliper on, and we're done on this side. In fact, you don't need to see that. All right, so it's done. We got our new upper control arm, which, by the way, so the upper ball joints were wore out on this, and so was the bushings. That's why I replaced the entire control arm, because it I think it was $38 for this control arm. I'm doing both sides. It comes with the bushings installed and the ball joint installed, so that's a time saver right there. Even if you had to replace these upper bushings, the work involved with pressing them out and pressing the new ones in to put it, an original control arm on, you have to ask yourself if it's worth the time, to do that. So the only thing left that I've got to do, I've got to put this brake line back on here, and then that'll be it on this side.